Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. Welcome in the Bulls Report by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. A little different type of video that you guys aren't used to seeing here on the channel. I wanted to go a full deep dive into this entire Chicago Bulls team. First, we're going to be just looking at the entire roster. I'm just going to be going in, go over some key important players like Patrick Williams, Coby White, and Ayo Dosunumu specifically, and diving into like how they can really take this next step personally in their games heading in the next season. And then the second topic we're going to be talking about, can the Bulls just compete in the Eastern Conference? And then third, we're going to be finishing up with, if the Bulls season is going bad and the NBA trade deadline comes around, will the Bulls end up blowing it up? This is a totally new style video. It's going to be a longer video, more podcast, kind of chop it up style with you guys. So, hey, if you guys are doing something today, throw me on in the background. I'm just going to be diving into all you need to know about your Chicago Bulls and just kind of giving you guys my whole thoughts on this organization as, I think this is a very pivotal year, and I think changes will be coming to the Chicago Bulls if this season goes good or if this season ends up going bad. But I do want to ask you guys, if you guys do like this type of stuff here on the channel, trying something new here, trying to see what you guys, enjoy, because this channel is all about you guys. If you guys like the videos we're putting out, I'll make more of these types of videos. If you guys don't, we won't. It's kind of how it is here. So, I would love your feedback on today's show. A great way you can show some love is to go down there and hit that subscribe button and comment down below all of your thoughts on the Chicago Bulls. I'll be chopping it up with each and every single one of you guys. So make sure you guys give me your thoughts on today's show. And hey, if you like it, go down there, hit that subscribe button. Quick, free, easy way to, show some love here to this Bulls Report channel, trying to grow it to be one of the biggest ones we have here at Chat Sports. But let's dive into the Chicago Bulls roster here. I think we can start off with Patrick Williams. I think he is the biggest X factor for this team heading in the next season. We call him Baby Kawhi in Chicago. And, I think some of that comparison, I think it's true. I think his offensive game is very similar to Kawhi Leonard in his early stages in San Antonio. He has that really strong, mid-range game. He shoots at the top of his release, which Kawhi has done, or Kawhi's jump shot is very similar. Very good catch and shoot guys from downtown. Patrick Williams shot 40% on all catch and shoot three-point opportunities. And we've really seen him follow that Kawhi kind of career trajectory. Obviously, the Bulls weren't as successful as the San Antonio Spurs when Kawhi got in there. They were winning championships. Kawhi was winning finals MVPs in the early stages of his career. But in terms of where they started in their games in the NBA and where they are now with Williams entering his fourth season, very similar to Kawhi Leonard. Patrick Williams, he came into the league. It's defense, catch and shoot, one dribble gets to the rim. And it was mainly defense. That's where he kind of, made his mark in the league. Just like Kawhi, when he went into that Spurs organization, they said, hey, you got to focus on defense first. Then we'll develop your catch and shoot game. And then we'll develop the midi, the one dribble pull-ups, the one dribble side steps. And then we really saw Kawhi kind of take that next step. And I think Patrick Williams, this year is the year to take that next step. If we're looking at this Bulls roster as a whole, it's LaVine, it's DeRozan. Those are the offensive engines. We know this. But I can make an argument that I think if the Bulls want to be the best they can, I think Patrick Williams might have to be the second best player on this team. I know you might be saying, well, we have Vucevic, we have DeMar. I just think we've seen in NBA history the 3-and-D archetype with the Jason Tatums, the Jaylen Browns, LeBron, KD, these big, long, lanky wings, they win. And they win at the highest level. That has always been throughout NBA history. Larry Bird, even dating back. Dominique, Julius Erving, Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen. We know these long 3-and-D type of archetypes of players. They win in the modern day game. And Patrick Williams has that. Last year, he was incredibly efficient. He's shooting over 40%. From downtown in his entire career. And I know the argument's going to be well, if the kind of usage rate and the shots per game goes up, can he still develop, or can he still remain efficient as a basketball player? That's where the question mark is going to be with him. But anytime I throw on some Patrick Williams tape, he's super smooth, a very underrated handle, I must say as well. That's one thing last year. I think that was definitely something he worked on last offseason and then heading into this past season. His handle is extremely tight, and the thing I like about him, it's very long. It is kind of a, oxymoron there, but like it is a tight handle. He keeps it like here where it's very smooth. It looks like it's on a string a little bit, but he brings it out here. He gets the defenders moving back and forth, and then he's able to kind of use his big frame to rise up and hit a jump shot. Like, I just think it comes down to shots per game and usage rate for Patrick Williams, and that's why a lot of his development I am going to put on Billy Donovan this upcoming year, because shot attempts per game, Patrick Williams was 4th on the Bulls last year with only 8.3 a game. 8.3 shot attempts per game for Patrick Williams. That needs to be up there at, in my opinion, 13, 14. I think it should still be LaVine top dog, but then I honestly go DeMar and, Patrick Williams at that 13, 14 spot, and then maybe Vuce be 4th. Like, that's how I would do it, because I think Patrick Williams, like, you can, like, if in terms of the offensive games, you can zero in on Vuce. Like, if you're getting Vuce a post up, there's easy ways that defenses can kind of take that away. You can quickly double, if he's getting a pick and pop threat, you can send the weak side guy over. But in terms of like the Patrick Williams archetype, he's tougher to take away, and especially in the postseason, because we've seen it with Kawhi. You can run any defensive coverage on him. It's all about him getting to a spot and rising up. And it comes down to him missing the jump shot. It doesn't really necessarily come down to, the defense. So Patrick Williams, in my opinion, if we're talking biggest X factors going in the next season, it is definitely him. But I'll ask you guys, do you guys think P-Dub will take that next step next season? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I'll probably make this the pinned comment on today's video. It's going to be a Y for yes or an N for no if you think Patrick Williams will finally take that next step. Maybe, become an NBA All-Star next season. Now let's kick it to a guy like Ayo Dosunumu. We'll spend not a ton of time on him because I think we know what he is. Even though he is entering his year 3 and, he still has a ton of room to develop, like, I think Ayo's, ideal build in the league is a Bruce Brown type of guy where it's like that strong point of attack defender where, like, he can knock down an open 3 if you need him to, but that's not his game. He'll be more of a connecting piece on offense, the guy that will make the extra pass and everything. But in terms of like what he would bring defensively, that's where I'm curious this year. I want to see him take another level defensively, really get that dog. I mean, he's from Chicago. He's got that Chicago dog defense in him. So a guy like Ayo, like, he's somebody that I think, like, if he has this really takes that next step type of season, like, that could be huge for just the Bulls defense because you pair him up with Caruso. Obviously, we just talked about Patrick Williams, how good of a defender he is. Like, the Bulls could be rolling out 3 elite defenders at that guard and wing spot, which we know it's just so devastating for other opposing teams' offenses when you can deploy 2 point of attack defenders and then a wing defender like Patrick Williams. Just makes me wish the Bulls had a solid rim protector because I actually think you can make an argument they could have one of the best defenses in the league if they had, maybe like a Gobert or something, like, or a Clint Capella type of, center in the league. But Ayo, I think his next jump is already doing stuff that he's already good at. Take that next jump defensively, still remain that connective piece on offense, but really zero in on your defensive game. Then I do want to spend a little bit of time here also talking about Coby White because he's also a big X factor for this Bulls team because we've seen his points per game over the last 3 seasons drop 3 points. It was like 15 points a game in year 2 to 12, and then this past year all the way down at 9. And I think a little bit of that is, you're playing next to a lot of offensive talent. Like, you're playing next to LaVine and DeRozan. You're going to have to, get your shot attempts where you can take them. And listen, he's taking advantage of it a little bit. I just wish the Bulls heading in the next season, like, I think the roster overall is extremely deep, and there's a lot of talent on that team. I just don't think the Bulls have top-end talent. And I think the Bulls sort of ran their offense too much through LaVine, DeRozan, and Vuce. Like, LaVine was 18 a game shot attempts. DeRozan was 17.5, and then Vuce was 14.5. Then there was a huge drop-off to 8 shot attempts for P-Dub and Coby White. I want to see that more, kind of just a more team basketball shot attempts. Like, I get it. LaVine's an unreal offensive talent. Same with DeRozan. Like, they're so talented at putting that ball in the bucket, but listen, I mean, the Bulls were a top 5 defensive team last year, and he ended up missing the playoffs. So clearly offensively, the Bulls need to change something. They were still incredibly efficient. They just didn't really shoot threes at the highest level last year. Like, they were 4th in field goal percentage, but they were like 22nd in points per game. It just, simple analytics right there. Shoot more threes, you're going to equate to more and more points, even if the field goal percentage goes down. And a guy that can do that and be that volume, 3-point, guard scorer is Coby White. So Coby White's another one of those guys where, if those guys take another step in their development, like then this Bulls team looks a little more complete, and you're like, oh shit, they got a lot of good role players there. They got, they may not have the star, like they have the secondary star in LaVine, maybe another like opposing superstar when they're potentially asking out of their respective organization says, man, I could go play in Chicago, play next to LaVine, have really solid role players and Ayo and Coby White, and then Patrick Williams be that developing superstar. Like, I think that's the Bulls' best angle to kind of lure a potential superstar in. But now let's just shift to talking about the Eastern Conference. And with the way the Bulls roster is constructed right now, can they compete in the East? And I think the East is stacked this year. There's top end talent and it's also deep. So you're going to be competing. And obviously it's going to be tough for the Bulls to get a top 6 seed because you think Boston's still going to be good. Obviously they lose Marcus Smart, but I like what they brought in with Porzingis. You still got the two of the best 3-and-D wings in the league, and Tatum and Brown. I think they're going to figure it out. They're going to be incredibly motivated this offseason. Obviously, we know in Miami, still question marks around Dame. I still expect him to be there, and that team's going to be a super team. Like, Miami's going to have a super team once again once they get Dame, Jimmy, and Bam and have that be their big three. But even like the Knicks, I think the Knicks could be a team that could take that next jump this season. Like, maybe Cleveland as well. Like, they added shooting to the roster, which they most desperately needed. Like, the team where I think in terms of the Bulls jumping in the top 6 would be Philly. Like, Philly is sitting on the verge of maybe being a disaster of a team this season, with the drama around Embiid, the drama around Harden. I just think maybe it could be something where they could get distracted heading into the next season. Maybe the Bulls need to take advantage because I think the Bulls have the talent on this roster to become a top 6 team. It's just going to come down to continuity, and it's going to come down to Billy Donovan. It's going to come down to just coaching and if they can get the most out of this unit because, listen, this was a team that was the first seed in the Eastern Conference only a couple years ago. Like, obviously, Lonzo Ball went down. That changed everything. But, I don't want to undervalue the Lonzo Ball injury because there are still 11 other players or 14 other players on this roster that contribute. So maybe with the addition of Javon Carter, we could tap back into that 2021 first half of the season magic, and maybe then the Bulls could compete in the East. But I overall think their max potential with this unit is a second round exit. Like, I think they are good enough to go win a playoff series this year and kind of put like the Bulls and Chicago back on the map a little bit. But it's tough without having that superstar in the league. And that's just the way the NBA is. Like, if you look at the past 40 NBA champions, like, they all have top 25 players of all time on their team. And LaVine is frankly not close to that. And that's okay. Like, not many people are, obviously. There's only 25 of those guys. But, the only team that has one is the Detroit Pistons in 04 without a top 25 player of all time. So maybe the Bulls need to tap into some of that magic and some of that, team basketball type of play if they want to get the most out of this unit. But yeah, it's going to be tough for them to compete in the East. It's just a stacked conference this year. So we're going to have to wait and see if they could do that. But, it's going to come down to continuity and everything, and if the Bulls can get the most out of this unit. So let's wrap up talking about if this season were to go bad for Chicago. And let's just say the NBA trade deadline rolls around and the Bulls are 5 games below 500, even 500. I think the Bulls will fully blow this thing up. I think this is a push-come-to-shove season. And we've heard Nikola Vucevic talk about it in his recent interviews. He said, listen, this is it for this group. This is it for this big three of LaVine, DeRozan, and himself. So I completely agree with that. Like, I think the Bulls is going to be the last kind of first half of this season where the sense of urgency is going to be high and changes will be coming. I could even see the Bulls, like if they're 10 games above 500 and everybody's like, oh shit, look at the Bulls. Like they're making noise right now. I could see them looking to, maybe trade a couple guys and get another superstar in here or something. Like we heard the Pascal Siakam drama. Like maybe they say like, let's just say hypothetical. Patrick Williams doesn't really take that step, right? Still looking good, but he's just not getting the shot attempts or the usage rate. And the Bulls are really good next year. Like LaVine, DeRozan, and Vucevic, it's somehow working with the combination of Caruso and Ayo being those strong defenders. What if they say, hey, we'll throw you Patrick Williams, Coby White in a first, bring us Pascal Siakam. So that's even a move that could happen. But if the Bulls are bad, I'll make this prediction right now. I fully expect Zach LaVine to be traded to the New York Knicks and RJ Barrett to be coming to the Chicago Bulls. I'll pound that table up until the NBA trade deadline. I think that's the trade that's on the table right now, and I think it's almost Leon Rose and the Knicks are saying, hey, if you guys want to take that deal at the trade deadline, do it. Like, we like LaVine. Heard the reports that the Knicks are extremely interested in him. So, again, a lot of this season, It's going to come down to this trade deadline. It's a huge year for the Chicago Bulls. But thank you guys so much for watching this more podcast style of video. Hope you guys like it. A little longer video, but let me know down below if you guys like this type of content here on the channel. Keep it simple, just more dudes talking shop, which I like to do personally for NBA videos. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below. And if you guys are new to the channel, really appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe button and showing some love down below, because it really does go a far way. And it just keeps us motivated around here. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Go freaking Bulls.